Omololu, I know your parents are back home in Nigeria, and through your wife, I've been told how proud they are of your many accomplishments throughout your 20 years of naval service. I'm quite sure the morals and values they instilled in you have served as your compass to succeed as a trusted leader in the Navy, in our Navy. To his three sons, Olugbemi, Olufarami, and Omololu Jr. I hope I got that right. I have no doubt that you're your dad's finest accomplishments. And I have no doubt he's absolutely proud of everything you've accomplished and the fine young man you've all grown up to become. And to Olugbemi, fantastic to hear that you're in your final year at UVA, doing really well, majoring in computer science. And I'm sure your parents are probably going to be relieved during your final year, I'm sure. So, but there's still two more, so the fun continues. For Omni and Omololu Jr., in addition to doing well in school, I hear you guys are excellent soccer stars. And if you really want to learn about soccer, after the ceremony, come talk to me. Your dad has coached both of you over the years, so I say that. Come talk to me. But in all seriousness, both are excellent soccer players playing for their high school and middle school teams. Utendi, his childhood sweetheart of almost 30 years, you have been his rock throughout the past 20 years. The steadfast support you've given your husband over the years, holding down the fort, raising three boys during Olu's several deployments and various TD trips cannot be overstated. I'm sure that Olu can agree with me that everything I just said about your three wonderful boys is truly a testament of your efforts at home. We know that these behind-the-scenes efforts can often go unnoticed and underappreciated. So, as your Navy family, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your sacrifice, not only for sharing your husband with the Navy, but for also doing everything that needed to be done at home to ensure he succeeded in all the assignments he held over his career. So thank you. I'll try to read this fast, but I'd like to pause here with my speech momentarily and read some remarks from Utendi, expressing what her husband has meant to her and the boys during his time in uniform. So I reached out to her, said if she had any remarks, I could incorporate in the speech. I got this, and I'd like to read it. It's probably more important than my speech. It's a privilege and honor for the children and I to serve our great nation, along with my darling husband, Olugbemi, as I fondly call him, is a loving father, friend, confidant, lover, and husband. He loves the Navy so much that I was disturbed he might not be able to cope as a civilian, but he's sliding and adjusting well to civilian life, much to my amazement. Though he loves the Navy and gives his 100% at work, he never let that get away of taking care of his family. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he was giving 100% to the Navy, and also doing the same at home. He gives the children and I 100% all the time, and he's never tired of giving. He's a great and God-fearing father who teaches the children by example. He did not allow his work to get in the way of being in our boys' lives. He volunteered to coach each of their soccer teams at different stages in their lives. Whatever we are today is owed to God and him, and the boys and I are grateful to God for him. Boys can never have had a better father, and I could have not chosen a better man as a best friend and husband. One of the several events I will never forget in his Navy career was while I was deployed to Kuwait. One evening, the FaceTime feature on my iPad rang at a time he should have been sleeping. I immediately had this overwhelming fear, knowing he's the only one who called my iPad and it wasn't the time for our evening prayer, which they made a point in having an evening prayer with the kids every night when he came home. My fear was confirmed when he came on pointing to his head saying, I have a terrible headache and I've never experienced this type of headache in my life. As a nurse, my knowledge and experience took the best of me, and I started thinking of the worst. Here I was in Virginia with the boys and my husband thousands of miles away calling to tell me that he had the worst headache of his life. I felt helpless, and we were both shedding tears of the unknown. Almost at the same time, we both said, let us pray. We prayed together, but I was still worried, so I asked him if I could crawl to the door, open it, bang down, So I asked him if he could crawl to the door, open it, and bang on one of his colleagues' door, and who happens to be a physician's assistant. You can see God was looking out for us. He opened the door, and all my husband could do was point at the iPad. Needless to say, the closest hospital he could be taken to was hours away from the base. Scott took over, and although he had to be on bed rest, SIQ, for days after returning from the hospital, he got well, came home to us, and today it's a story we live to tell to the glory of Almighty God. I have more stories to tell, more adventures to share about our years in the Navy, but for the sake of time, I will not. I know you know that I love you, but just to use this medium to remind you again that it's together forever, forever together. All right, so I started my speech by saying that we're here to celebrate the finale of a stellar 20-year career, and Stellar can only define how a young man of only 2 years removed from Nigeria joined the enlisted ranks in the military, and within 7 years was able to accept a commission as an officer in the U.S. Navy. Now, I won't go through his career, all that is in your program, but I did want to mention the first one, since it had the greatest impact on his career. Upon starting the journey in 1998, he was assigned as a storekeeper on the boom, allowing him as a young sailor to delve into every area of a storekeeper's role, providing him the logistics foundation which served him well throughout his career. Over the span of 20 years, Olu has accomplished and achieved quite a lot. Oh, by the way, one thing about the boom, I just found out that Senior Chief Robayo served with you, and I got a lot of dirt on you. So, over the span of 20 years, Olu has accomplished and achieved quite a lot to achieve being stationed at 11 different commands and adventures of 5 PCS moves. It's not until you cross that 20-year mark, like I have, that you realize, wow, 20 years is a long time. And yes, it goes by quick when you're having fun, but it's still a long time. So to put it in perspective, let's mention a few memorable events that took place when Olu enlisted 20 years ago, 1998. So some of you might recognize some of the stuff, but Kate Manning, that was his first year, picked for the Indianapolis Colts. That was April 18th, he was drafted, and we see 2 Stanford University candidates established a company called Google in 1998. So, Space Shuttle Discovery, the oldest man flew up in space, that was John Glenn. And then, lastly, but actually this happened in June 9th, Abdul Salami Abubakar succeeds Sani Abacha as military president of Nigeria. The popular shows in 1998 were Will and Grace, that 70s show, The Family Guy. Sports, the Broncos won their first back-to-back Super Bowl games. Miami Marlins, back then it was called Florida Marlins, won their first of 2 World Series, and the Chicago Bulls won their last NBA championship. That's a long time ago. You can't forget soccer. Who won the World Cup in 1998? Come on, quick. France, never mind that. Come talk to me. On the big screen, Saving Private Ryan, big movie, Armageddon, big box grossing movies. Top songs, none of which I know. Next, Too Close, Brandy and Monica, Shania Twain, Savage Garden, LeAnn Rimes. Bad year for music. So, cost of a first-class stamp was 32 cents, today's 49. Cost of a gallon was regular gas, $1.06. Lowest it got in the 90s and ever since. That was interesting. Anyways, those are the few of the events that occurred on Olu's watch. So, I met Olu 11 years ago on the USS Kaufman, where at the time I was less than 2 months from completing my department head tour. And here comes the new dispersing officer with a charismatic smile, which has been his signature trait in the time I've known him. Of course, having immigrated from an African country myself, I had an immediate bond with the new disco. It wasn't long before I realized his previous enlisted storekeeper background would bring a wealth of experience to the Kaufman. And although I only had a couple of months left on board, I distinctly remember thinking, why didn't I have Olu during my tour? And I think Olu knows only too well why I felt that way. Can't discuss that here. Sorry. But the African connection was not meant to be. So the second frigate tour was Olu's first assignment as a commissioned officer, and this tour enabled him to learn and showcase his leadership skills as an officer. He described this tour as challenging and rewarding. Challenging because of the many different positions he was entrusted to lead: dispersing, sales, food service, and rewarding, he was able to give back to the young sailors the opportunities he was afforded when he started his career. From the time I reported to CRG2, Olu has been my go-to guy for almost anything supply related. You only need to look inside the program again to see his strong background in the riverine community going back to 2010. During my first week on board, the supply department was undergoing a supply management inspection, and I recall how well the warehouse had done on the inspection, but the results didn't surprise me when I found out who was in charge. With the strong riverine experience Olu has gained over the years, I knew I had the right guy running the warehouse operation. It should also be noted that although Olu had a young second tour Lieutenant JG assigned to him, as well as having some of the best sailors and civilians at the warehouse, he was still running the warehouse without a full-time chief for about 15 months of my tour. So Olu, I truly appreciated your superb leadership. It made my job easier to lead. Aside from his logistics acumen, I've also been fortunate to have his contagious smile and personality on the team. I can honestly say that there hasn't been a day in which Olu wasn't wearing that smile and having something funny to say. And some of the funniest times have been during our weekly overseas sync calls, where Olu typically arrives about 5 minutes into the call. He sits and attentively listens as we go around the room and discuss the various issues. And about 5 minutes before we wrap up, Olu strikes. Wait, Wes, hold on. Let me repeat what you just said so everyone is clear. And lo and behold, clarity emerges out of confusion, and only because of Olu's intrinsic skill of sifting through the information chaos. Well, Olu, I want you to know that I was always happy to see when my fact checker walked in the room during those calls. But now, let's see if your peers felt the same way, as I did. So I've got a few comments from some of the CRG2 past and present supply shipmates that Olu served with, some which are unable to attend today. In preparing my speech, I asked them if there were any remarks that they would like me to include. Well, it wasn't long before I got some remarks, and I'll read some of them here. I remember Olu telling me and Rudy, since you guys can't seem to send back the signed receiving documents, I'm not sending you any more parts. Olu, come on, we're deployed. Deep accent. I don't care about your deployment. No more parts for you. I think you'll get nothing, and I like it, was Olu's personal motto. He was always customer service focused, and with a smile at that. The overseas calls were epic. There were multiple instances of Olu sitting patiently through an entire meeting, and when you thought it was over, he would start shooting holes in everything that was said. But most of the time, he had valid points, so the meeting would be extended. I think he used his deep accent to his advantage. And lastly here, well, actually, no, not lastly, but like watching an episode of Jerry Springer is entertaining. On this week's episode, part 7 of our 96-part series, where we watched and listened to Wes and Olu fight from halfway across the world about who was really Supple's favorite. You cannot put aside the driving passion he brought to the table. Fiercely loyal to his people, the command, and doing the right thing, even if it meant rubbing some people the wrong way. An old-school Navy-type dude that was not the least bit impulsive to change a procedure or implement a new process, without careful study of the second and third order consequences. A great guy to have on the team because he was always going to take the counterpoint to your argument, ask the what-if questions, and not relent until you have absolutely proven every aspect of your plan and considered every angle. Because of this, often then the best plan or initiatives were put forward. His effective mindset is the counterbalance to the efficiency mindset us 4 deployed team members tend to take on, and in the grand scheme of things, that was always a help and benefit to the organization, even if it meant some colorful discussions along the way. Now, I'll tell you, that was assigned to Wes. And you guys don't know, but there was a lot of this between those two, so a lot of nice words from good old Wes. And the last one, that guy's still around? I thought he retired when I was deployed. He's very entertaining on the phone calls. I hear he's a hell of a soccer player. I wasn't there, but apparently he's the best. He's a beast on the ping pong table. So you might be thinking, wow, did these guys get along with Olu? Well, I'm here to tell you that not only did they get along with him, but they all have a huge admiration and respect for a strong understanding of the Navy supply system, leadership, and professionalism. So I really quickly want to go back to this ping pong comment I just made by the shipmates. I have to say, having played ping pong, table tennis, most of my life, I thought there was no one that could beat me at this command. So during a recent social in my house where I had invited my N41 team, Olu noticed a table in the garage, and to make a long story short, the trash talking had begun. I will say we played one game, and yes, he beat me, but he had no shame in using my own championship house pass, leaving me with a decrepit guest pass. Anyway, I wouldn't let this defeat rest, threatening him of not being his guest speaker if I didn't have a rematch. And just last week, about 2 weeks ago, I had my opportunity again at the base gym, and this time in front of witnesses, yes, Captain seat back there, and a few other CRT2 shipmates. And Olu, I am here to publicly announce, you won the best of 5 tournament, and yes, you are the undisputed champ, my friend. Alright, so now begins the next chapter in Olu's life. To spend more time with the family, as well as utilize the business skills he's learned as a supply officer, and become an entrepreneur, owning and operating a used car dealership. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the business card. I didn't plan ahead. Somebody showed me a little business card, so I was going to say, a little birdie has told me that he's already got a jump start on this career here. So I'm quite confident he'll find success in this business venture as well. Olu, please remember this speech when I'm looking for a used car. So as I wrap up my speech, it's fitting to end with the remarks that President Kennedy gave during his speech, or during the speech at the U.S. Naval Academy in August of 1963. I can imagine a no more rewarding career, and any man who may be asked in this century what he did to make his life worthwhile, I think can respond with a good deal of pride and satisfaction. I served in the United States Navy. And so you did, Olu. Rest assured, you made a difference to our Navy through your honorable and selfless service, professionalism, and commitment to excellence. You've contributed to making it a stronger Navy for years to come. And with extreme pride and honor, you can now stand easy. You've completed the race. We've got it from here. So on behalf of this great nation and the United States Navy, I thank you. We all thank you. And farewell to the following season. Should be.
I remember that ping pong rematch, Olu. Olu was pretty fired up. He thought he was going to win. You crushed his dreams. Ushers, please escort Lieutenant Olugbemi's wife, Yetunde, and his children to the center of the stage. This time I'd also like to invite the commanding officer of Coastal Riverine Group 2, Captain Ty Britt, to the stage at this time. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Navy. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. Yetunde Olugbemi, this is to certify that by the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for enduring the frequent and long separation from your husband as he served his country. These months, indeed years, that he spent away from you constitute a clear and noble demonstration of his love for you and his family. You see, he left you in order to ensure that you inherited a safer world, a surer peace. To those who say a single man cannot make a difference, I say wrong. Your husband did. He made our Navy stronger and kept our nation safe. With his service to the Navy now complete, he will be able to spend more time with you in the future. The United States Navy thanks both you and your husband for enduring these separations. Signed, Captain P.T. Britt, Commander, Coastal Riverine Group 2. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Navy to Olugbemi has earned grateful appreciation for his unselfish, faithful, and devoted service during his father's naval career. His unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible his father's lasting contribution to the nation. Also receiving a letter of appreciation, his son, Olugbemi. I'm doing my best. And also receiving a letter of appreciation, his son, Omololu Jr. Thank you. Ushers, please escort the family members back to their seats.
Can I interrupt you 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
I got for 1 second. I can't stand in front of a crowd and not say something, okay? And what I told this beautiful family is, comments were made during the remarks. It's absolutely critical to understand. As I tell everybody, this is a team effort, all right? One heck of a team, all right? Everything we do, Olu gives to the command, come receive back before me, and the whole staff. This is how he does it, I think, right? It's where I get my strength from a lot of times. This is clearly where the strength is. I just told them the same thing. They don't wear the uniform, but they're every bit a part of the service as the rest of us who are wearing it are. And I know we got more letters coming for everybody, but while I have them up here particularly, I'll tell everybody the same thing. Thank you all for what you do and allowing Olu to be a part of our team.
Senator Olugbemi also wanted to take a few minutes to recognize some key members of his extended family who have been by his side and have contributed to his success during his 20-year naval career. As I read your names, please come to the stage to receive your letters of appreciation as well. Olufalala and Samson Olugbemi, his brothers. Thank you. Chiekulu and Bayor Olugbemi, his uncles, and Funmi Olugbemi, his aunts. Thank you all. Captain Britt will now present Lieutenant Olugbemi with his end of tour award. Military personnel, please rise. Attention to award. Department of the Navy. This is to certify that the Secretary of the Navy has awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal, Gold Star, and moved to 4th award to Lieutenant Omololu Olugbemi, United States Navy, for meritorious service while serving as warehouse officer in Coastal Riverine Group 2 from April 2013 to November 2017. Lieutenant Olugbemi masterfully directed the complete overhaul and consolidation of warehouse operations, encompassing 4 warehouses, multiple custom designed storerooms, and depot-level repairables valued at $16.5 million. He expertly managed the transition of warehouse data and spearheaded the completion of 100% location audits in 4 CONUS and no CONUS warehouse locations, increasing inventory accuracy by 30%. By his noteworthy accomplishments, perseverance, and devotion to duty, Lieutenant Olugbemi reflected credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Signed, P.T. Britt, Captain, United States Navy, Commander, Coastal Riverine Group 2. Thank you, Captain Britt. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present Lieutenant Olugbemi.
Good morning, afternoon, yeah.
Good question.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming. Commander Olugbemi, thanks for accepting to speak here today. For all those thoughts you put out there, I was hoping you would not go that far, but you did. I did try to warn you, but I'm on my way out. Don't get furious anymore. Commodore, thanks for coming. Deputy, Captain CPEC, Captain Witherspoon, family, friends, and esteemed guests. Before I go into my prepared remarks, it's going to be a lot of rambling, but before I go into that, let me take a quick second to appreciate my bosses in the front row over here. It's amazing. Over the years, I've served all of them. I've served on all the air commands. And I must have done something right for them to take a minute out of their day today, as busy as it is, for them to be here this morning and this afternoon. Thanks for coming. Captain CPEC was my CO on USS Kaufman that we're talking about earlier. And he was my CO up until last week at this command. Commodore is the Commodore today, is the man. So I'm working at his pleasure today. Captain Klasky was my CO on my very previous command. And we had some great memories together. And Captain Witherspoon was my CO at that same command when Captain Klasky left. We were at the Kuwait deployment together. So it's been a great journey, and it's great to have you present. So I know your schedule is very, very tight, and thanks for making a little bit of room for me today. I'm fully aware that your being here today, everybody, is at the expense of other things or places that you could be attending to. I appreciate you choosing to be here at my retirement, while other places and things wait. It's an honor. Thank you. A special thanks to our Master of Ceremonies, Lieutenant Ken. Where you at? You understand? He was instrumental in making this happen today. I know this beautiful event takes a lot of hard work to coordinate, but your commitment to the success of today's event is apparent. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Also, thanks to all the military and civilian members of the supply department who have helped out in getting this taken care of and put together. This ceremony is put together including financial contributions from the supply department. Jerome and your crew, I like it, I appreciate it. That's X amount of dollars I didn't have to come out of pocket with. I'll have to justify to my wife I gotta spend. But thank you. I'm very grateful for all the support. I'm overwhelmed with joy to see so many in the audience with whom I've served over my career. I see Lieutenant Commander Brown sitting back there. Thanks for coming. I know your schedule is very tight. And you still need a little time to come in. I'm looking forward to maybe I'll live up to someday to go a little, what you got going on. If I do that now, someone will be out of my tail. the entire Olugbemi family, nuclear and extended, thank you, you rock. For traveling from far and wide to share this special day, the bond of love that we share will continue to endure from generation to generation. Thank you. It gladdens my heart to see everybody. You don't know how much. I'm a man of forefathers, gentlemen, or ladies and gentlemen, forefathers. Yeah, I know, I understand. That'll bow for you, but let me explain. My dad, Solomon Olugbemi, is not here today, but he's very proud. He called me first thing this morning. But as you well aware, he's my biological father. A very strict man, a disciplinarian. He never allowed anything to slide, more like I am today to my boys, they'll tell you that. He prepared me for the challenges of life and deposited lots of wisdom in me. He taught me that hard work pays, and you never relent until you get what you're looking for. Without him, you would not have this handsome looking young guy in front of you this morning. And that was my first father. My second father is here. I know he's very proud as he should be. He drove through the night with his family from Rhode Island, arriving this morning to take center stage as deserved. Rafala, thank you. Thank you for your care and support in the early days of my life. Thanks for filling in and stepping up when I could. Just give me a minute. I know I can't do this without. It's hard, but it's got to be done. Thanks for filling in and stepping up where Daddy couldn't. I'm playing the fatherly role even as young as you were at the time. I'm glad to have you as my brother. Couldn't have asked for better. My third father is here also. He didn't have to travel far. He only traveled from Nigeria. Uncle Bayo. Don't know what I would have become without you in my life. You took me as your first son. You nurtured me. You encouraged me. You set the standard so high and promised me guaranteed success. You continue to inspire me even today in every area of my life. As a husband and even as a father. I know we spend lots of hours tonight again reliving those days of our early lives in your one-bedroom apartment back in the day, where we ate what we could find and not necessarily what we like to eat. Thank you. My fourth father is the proudest of them all. And to God be the glory, he's still here with me today. He didn't have to travel far either. He only traveled through the night from Maryland today. He drove from Maryland with his family, just as he did at the start of my Naval career, when he drove from Brooklyn, New York, to Chicago, Illinois to see me graduate from boot camp.